Hello, good morning, and good afternoon. I hope your coffee is hot, your tea just right today. My name is Grover. Today is Tuesday, March 4th, and this is Grover Reads the News. I have a news update for you if you'd like to hear it. If so, keep listening. If not, I'll offer again next week. And with that, here's some news. First up, we have transnational news about the U.S. Executive Office, Ukraine, Europe, and Russia. On Friday, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky met with the current president, vice president, and Secretary of State of the United States in the Oval Office in front of the press for what was supposed to be the signing of a rare earth minerals deal in exchange for U.S. continued support of Ukraine. Instead, Trump and Vance proceeded to berate Zelensky like schoolyard bullies. They berated him for the clothes he was wearing and for supposedly not thanking the U.S., although Zelensky has many times publicly thanked the U.S. for our aid in the country's fight against Russia's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. Then Trump canceled the joint press conference and essentially kicked Zelensky out of the White House. He also announced he was suspending all military aid to Ukraine. This comes a week after Trump directed the UN representatives to vote with North Korea, Russia, and Belarus last week against a UN resolution that called out Moscow's aggression and demanded an immediate withdrawal of Russia's troops. He also called for an abstention from a U.S. drafted resolution after French representatives added a sentence clarifying that Russia was the initial aggressor of the war against Ukraine. He also attempted to hold so-called peace talks with Russia, but not Ukraine, in recent weeks. After leaving the White House, Zelensky met with European leaders, who then hosted a summit on Sunday to coordinate increased support for Ukraine, announcing increased military spending, and offering a European presence on the ground in Ukraine to enforce any potential future ceasefire. Next, we have U.S. executive branch news about tariffs. Trump's planned tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China have begun, and China and Canada have responded by implementing tariffs on U.S. goods. A tariff is a tax on imported goods, and companies who are importing the goods, such as big box retailers, car manufacturers, or food producers, usually pass those higher prices on to customers. For example, the province of Ontario's leader announced a 25% export tax on all electricity generated in Ontario that will be distributed to residents in Minnesota, New York, and Michigan. We can expect electrical costs to go up to offset the tax. The U.S. stock market has plummeted in response for 2 days in a row. Next, we have U.S. and transnational news about deportations. Lawyers of migrants who have been deported to Panama from the U.S. say they still have not been able to speak to their clients. The people who have been sent to Panama are not Panamanian, but come from countries like Turkey, China, Iran, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Nepal, Pakistan, India, and Vietnam. More than 100 people have refused to be returned to their home countries and instead are being held in a detention camp transferred to the Darien province, the province that includes the infamous Darien Gap, a corridor through the jungle that many migrants travel as they move through Central America to the United States. The arrangement that the U.S. made with Panama enables the U.S. to deport these people outside the U.S. without review of potential asylum status or other legal process protections within the U.S., and it makes it Panama's responsibility to organize these people's repatriation to their country of origin. These people have no relationships to anyone in Panama, and lawyers from the U.S. who represent them are not able, presumably, to practice law in Panama, putting these people in a deeply vulnerable position and legal limbo. Finally, we have nature news about corals that can walk. Coral reefs are made up of corals, right? They are a really special phenomenon where a living creature of a coral is sedentary and interrelated with its neighbors into a large and sprawling rock-like system that has a neon-lit queer dance club vibe of aquatic life on top. But the mushroom coral has a different situation. Scientists have documented that it can essentially walk. With bodies shaped similarly to the bell of a jellyfish, the mushroom corals spend a long time inflating the tissues on the outermost edge of their bodies before releasing them quickly. And that allows the coral to kind of pop themselves forward, hopping across the substrate, reports the New York Times. The corals appear rather spry in the time-lapse footage, but in real time, it can take several hours for a mushroom coral to move just over an inch. In the study, a series of periodic pulses moved a mushroom coral 220 millimeters over the course of 24 hours. Scientists believe corals may use their movement to escape unfavorable conditions or overcrowding, or to improve their chances of mating. This story was reported by Jason Biddle of the New York Times. Thanks for joining me to hear the news today. I know that I will be joining some people in public to express our political opinions this week. I hope that your week has some moments of good connection with people you love, and maybe even a moment that you get to build trust or empathy with a stranger. My family has come down with a virus that I am anticipating I will next experience, so I won't plan on recording Friday's episode, but I'll hopefully be back with you next week with another update, and hopefully the sun will be shinier and the season of viruses will fade. The news is a lot to take in, but we don't have to do it alone. We can do it together. Thanks for making a moment to hear some news today with me. Until next time, be well.